Hello, good morning, good afternoon. This is Juan from Eurotour from Argentina, and today we are with Jimena. Jimena, is the sound good? Can you hear me?
Yes, everything is fine. Hello, everyone.
Good, good, excellent. Welcome and thanks for coming today to this webinar about Argentina. We will be doing a presentation on how to sell on the different areas of Argentina. And to start with this webinar, I will show you a 1-minute video for you to introduce to these beautiful areas that we have in this country. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so welcome again. My name is Juan Jose. I'm representing the sales manager here for the US market and English-speaking markets. So today we will be doing a webinar, a general presentation about Argentina. Let us introduce you who we are. We are Eurotour with 67 years in the market. We have been one of the leading DMCs based in Argentina. Our head office is in Buenos Aires. We have offices also in Patagonia, in Calafate, where the glaciers are, and in Ushuaia, where the southernmost city is. And also we opened before the pandemic in Salta, up north, in the northeastern part of Argentina, northwestern, sorry. And so this is a very important thing for us to have our own offices in these places, a strategic way to control our services and give a very good personalized service. We try to develop new programs every time in this area. So having the offices in Patagonia, it gives us an opportunity to explore new products every time and give a very good personalized service to our passengers. Before we start, I will give you an update of what's going on in Argentina. We have been very good news that we are going to open our borders in November 1st. Actually, in October, the government mentioned that we will open and receive tourism for neighbor countries. So Chile, Uruguay, Brazil, Paraguay, and Bolivia can enter into Argentina starting in October. But then we will open for the rest of the markets in November. Yeah, this country has a big diversity and variety. All over Argentina, you can find many different kind of climates, and that's one of the major important things that we have in this country, the big variety and diversity that we have in the same country. From north to south, it's totally different. If you go to Patagonia on the same trip, you get glaciers, you get the gateway to Antarctica here, we have lakes, we have wine, we have deserts up here in the north and jungle in here in Iguazu area. Also, the gateway will be Buenos Aires, the starting point for most of the itineraries in Argentina. So it's a lot of diversity in the same country. And remember, if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, we are located in the Southern Hemisphere here. Argentina is the second largest country in South America. First, it comes Brazil, but well, they don't have Pelé and Maradona, and they don't have, sorry, Messi and they have Pelé only. Our population is 45 million inhabitants. We have We speak Spanish, hola, buen día, buenas tardes. And we have our local currency is the peso. Now it's a very good time to visit this country because we have devaluated our currency last year suddenly quite well. And so it's a very good time for people coming from overseas to visit Argentina and spend US dollars in this country. This is how to compare the size of Argentina in, for example, this is a comparison to Europe. So this is what I was mentioning about the size of this country. And as I was mentioning in the beginning, the variety and diversity that we have in this country, the culture and history, we have a lot of beautiful nature landscapes. This is also very good in the pandemic and post-pandemic that we will have a lot of people visiting areas in Argentina that will be alone in remote areas without other people. We don't have mass tourism, over tourism in most of the places in Argentina. You can be alone. You can go to remote areas without having a lot of people. So nature, it's very important for us. Fauna, wildlife, there are many places in Argentina with a lot of wildlife and fauna. If you go southern in Patagonia or you go north into Ibera area, you can see different kind of wildlife depending where you go in Argentina. And in terms of gastronomy, also it's very important destination. We have beautiful, of course, the beef. We are very passionate about our meat. The lamb barbecue, also wine. We have beautiful wine, empanadas up north. So it's a big diversity and variety also in terms of gastronomy and the food. So as a starting point, Buenos Aires, we receive daily flights from most of the European Northern Hemisphere. We receive direct flights from United States, American Airlines, Copa United, Delta, from Europe, KLM, well, British Aerolíneas. A lot of the international carriers fly directly into Buenos Aires. There has been some changes with the pandemic. A few carriers stopped coming to Buenos Aires, well, Air New Zealand, but in general terms, we have very good connectivity, not only coming direct from Europe or from United States, but also internally in South America. We have flights coming from Brazil, from Peru, from Chile, and from Uruguay. In Buenos Aires, we have two airports. We have Ezeiza, that's the international airport where we receive most of the international carriers. And we have Aeroparque, AEP, for going to most of the domestic places in Argentina. So any flight going to Ushuaia or Iguazu or the places that we will visit today, you will be taking out of Aeroparque. Yeah, from Aeroparque, the domestic airport, it's only 15 minutes from most of the hotels in the city in Buenos Aires. And so as a starting point, Buenos Aires, we recommend to stay like minimum 3 nights. We like people to stay. There are also people staying longer than that, like 7 nights. Depends on the needs, what are they focused, if it's a corporate passenger, if it's just a regular tourism leisure, they do minimum 3 nights. Sometimes they combine and stay like 2 nights at the beginning. They go to other places in Argentina and they know 1 extra night on their return. But remember that you need to, and also there's a lot of people that are taking that land transfer on the way back. So coming back from Iguazu, you can connect on the same day and get into an international flight back home. So that could be another possibility of combining Buenos Aires as a last stop in here. So this is our capital. Buenos Aires is the capital of Argentina, and the gateway, as I was saying, the starting point to most of the itineraries. Yeah, is considered the Paris of South America. So you'll see a lot of the beautiful historic sites that we have, European buildings. Most of the tours that we recommend, well, the main ones and the most important for a first-time visitor to Argentina, I always recommend the city tour, for example, a 3-hour city tour that we go first to La Boca, Caminito, the colorful and the historic part of the city. La Boca is also the stadium of Boca Juniors. Boo, don't don't follow this soccer team. It's much better Independiente, my team, the Devil. And so this is the Mayo Square. We also visit the Pink House, the famous Pink House. It's located in the Plaza de Mayo, where we receive most of the demonstrations, not only for angry demonstrations, but a lot of people come here to celebrate if we win any soccer tournament or any celebration. It's also done here in the Plaza de Mayo, where we have a lot of historic buildings, the cathedral, we have the Cabildo, we have different historic buildings around the Plaza de Mayo. This is our main square here. And the famous balcony where Vita was singing here, the Madonna was singing in the movie Don't Cry for Me. The 9th of July Avenue, this is one of the widest avenues we have in Buenos Aires, and a beautiful scenic route, also dividing the city into sides, the northern and the southern part. Puerto Madero, with a lot of restaurants here, with the Puente de la Mujer, it's a women's bridge done by Calatrava. This is an old port that was all recycled. Now it's full of restaurants, steak houses, cafes, even a McDonald's we have here. It's not only expensive restaurants, but also a lot of options that we have, pasta restaurants. And then in the city tour, we also go to the famous cemetery of Recoleta. Yes, this is one of the most visited cemeteries in the world. This is because we have the famous Evita Perón is buried here. And it's beautiful to visit inside, full of mausoleums. Another thing that we recommend in the city is visiting the Colón Theater. The Colón has one of the best acoustics in the world. You can do a touristic visit inside, and also you can go for a performance. This is a nice theater that we recommend to do just the touristic visit. But if you have passengers asking for a performance, sometimes if it's an open ticket, we can buy the tickets for your customers. One also very good visit place is the Ateneo bookstore. It's an old theater it was also recycled. Now it's a bookstore, but it's a lot of people are going here just to visit or just to get some souvenirs, some books. And also a lot of historic tours regarding to Carlos Gardel or Evita Perón. And these are all the different neighborhoods that we have in the city of Buenos Aires. Recoleta, Casa Rosada, where the Pink House is located, San Telmo, the historic area, or Palermo, Villa Crespo. Well, these are all different places that we recommend. Most of the hotels are located in this area. So from Recoleta to the Pink House is like 20 minutes walk. It's not a large distance. So we recommend people to walk a lot in Buenos Aires. This is just the touristic part. This is a huge city with more than 15 million inhabitants. So it's a large city, but this is the touristic part where most of the passengers are staying and moving around. You know, most of the hotels are located between Recoleta, the Microcentro here, the financial district, a few hotels located in Puerto Madero, and also boutique hotels located in Palermo area. Now, going out of the city, we recommend a few tours. The one is going to the Delta. Coming into by land, we go to Tigre, the Tiger, and we take a boat to navigate through the Delta. So we have a lot of islands, and this is our escape from the porteños. People from Buenos Aires are called porteños. So people who want to disconnect out of the city, they come here to the Delta, and because it's full of vegetation and very nice islands and channels that we navigate. So these are the kind of rivers that we have, a lot of water activities that we can do. And these are typical wooden boats that we have to connect the islands. There's a lot of people living in the islands, schools, there's a lot of activity in the islands. But in the summertime, it's beautiful for disconnect from the city. Here is a map of all the open area. Buenos Aires is facing the widest part here. It's the Rio de la Plata. In the other side, we have Uruguay. So we can also offer an extension and taking a tour to Uruguay, a day trip to Colonia, or going to Montevideo or Punta del Este in Uruguay. But this is the area I was mentioning before. The Delta is taking a boat a transfer back to Tigre, and then we navigate through the Delta with a boat and then return by bus to Buenos Aires. Yeah, so that's the Tigre tour. Also, this is the Colonia, the day tour that I was mentioning, going to Uruguay. There's no visas. Going to Uruguay, the same as to Argentina. No, well, for depending the nationalities, but if you are coming from United States, there's no visas for Argentina or for Uruguay. And so a day trip to Colonia, it's a nice tour that you can offer to your passengers. It's a hydrofoil, 1 hour hydrofoil, and you get to Colonia, you visit, and then you return at around 5-6 p.m. back to Buenos Aires. Or if you want to extend longer, you can go to Montevideo or to Punta del Este, which is a summer beach destination. Another tour that we offer in Buenos Aires is going to a ranch, the typical estancias. Remember, we have the gaucho, the typical barbecue, a lot of meat, as I was mentioning in the beginning, that we have a lot of meat that we eat. And here we have the typical asado, the barbecue, with wine also included. And they also show you how good riders the gaucho are. So they do some kind of demonstration on horses. You can have the carriages. If you go to a private estancia, you can also have some of the estancias offer polo activities or swimming pools. So you can offer to your passengers stay overnight in some of the private estancias. There are different options around Buenos Aires, between 2 hours away of the city. It depends where you go. It's around 2 hours away from Buenos Aires. Yeah. And coming back to the city, night activities, of course, the tango. We are very proud about tango. I'm a very bad dancer, but the dinner and tango show is the typical program that everybody coming for first time to Buenos Aires want to do. So there are more than 10 tango houses in Buenos Aires offering a very complete program, including transportation, including dinner. And after the dinner, they have this typical show of on-stage tango. Yeah, it's a also, you can offer passengers going to a milonga. Milonga is the local disco. So the Argentinians who know how to dance, they can go to a milonga and have a little tango demonstration, or you can take also a tango lesson in the milongas. So those are different options that you can offer to your passengers to get involved with tango. Yeah, going to a milonga, taking a tango lesson, or just going to enjoy a tango show at these beautiful venues that we have in Buenos Aires. Gastronomy, as I was mentioning, a lot of meat, so bife de chorizo. Yeah, this is a program, for example, Argentine Experience they teach you how to cook your own empanada. Empanadas are pastries that we cook here, and they do a little cooking lesson and wine pairing also. Of course, we have very good wines. And we also try the dulce de leche, which is a dessert dulce de leche. Maybe you heard about that. And we also tried the mate. Probably you heard about mate. It's some drink that we have, a hot tea that I'm going to show you later a picture about the mate. But this is a very good also program at night to have dinner. And of course, well, we have different passions: polo, soccer, well, the tango I mentioned, horseback ride, horse races, soccer, going to stadiums, rugby. Well, that's a lot of sport activities here in Buenos Aires that we can have access to different. This is the dulce de leche, the alfajores that I was mentioning, the typical empanadas. And this is the mate that I mentioned. So the mate is the hot drink that we have in every house. They drink mate, and we used to share before the pandemic. We used to share this same mate. We pass it over on a round table. Now with the pandemic, we are not allowed to share the mate any longer, so it's more personalized. You have your own mate and you don't share any longer. But this is a typical hot water. We put hot water into green leaves, and it's like a tea. So this straw has a filter. So it will filter the leaves, and we have this mate. Now, going out of Buenos Aires from Aeroparque, remember I mentioned 2 airports. So from AEP, we land in IGU or IGR, depending which airport you are going to. We land into the Argentinian side. If you go from Buenos Aires, you land into the Argentinian side, but the falls, the Iguazu Falls, are located in between Argentina and Brazil. So if you are continuing later to Rio or to Sao Paulo, the Brazilian side has another airport called IGU, the Brazilian side. When people go to Iguazu area, I do recommend to stay 2 nights. One night you can do it, but you need to plan flights going very early and leaving out very late in the next day to enjoy the area. Also, people asking to go just for the day, it's kind of too rush. You will be allowed only to visit only one side of the falls. I always recommend to include the 2 sides of the falls because the Brazilian has a beautiful panoramic view of the area, and in the Argentinian side you are much more connected with the falls. So this is a good contrast, and I always recommend to include the 2 sides. So this is all the circuits that we walk in the Argentinian side. We need to walk a lot. Here's the blue part is the inferior path. Here is the superior path. So you see the falls from below or from the upper area. So we have different perspectives of the falls. And if you cross into the Brazilian side, you have more a panoramic. From here, you have more the panoramic view of the falls. Yeah, you are much more in contact with the falls in the Argentinian side. We also have a train going from the visitor center all the way to the Devil Station up to here. Then we walk the last part to the main attraction, which is the Devil Throw. The Devil Throw is the most visited places in Iguazu. And there are different activities also in here that we can offer to your passengers. Jungle, walking through the jungle, or taking a boat ride that I'm going to mention. This is the Devil Throw from the air. This is an area that you can a picture that you can see if you take a helicopter ride. I'm going to show you later a helicopter ride. This is the Devil Throw, about the balcony from where you see the falls in the Argentinian side. So this is one of the best access that we have to the Devil Throw, to the main attraction. In the Brazilian side, you get a bit more away from here. It's so the upper trail in the Argentinian side, you can see how close you are to the falls. It's more than 270 falls in the area. So we need to walk a lot. This is from the lower circuit that I was mentioning in the Argentinian side, that you have this, you get a lot of splash, you get all kind of wet depending how close you get. Some soft adventure, for example, the Great Adventure, you can take this boat ride to put you on. They put you right under the falls, and you get all soaked, all wet. Even if you buy the rain poncho, it's a kind of a soft adventure and nice activity for people wanting some adrenaline. It's a very good experience. Yeah, this is the time where they put you under the falls. Another tour that we offer at night, and this is the only time that they open the national park, is going to see the falls at night with the full moon. This is the only 4 or 5 days that the full moon is in the calendar. You have to follow the full moon calendar, and this is the only days that they open at night. Yeah, so this is an amazing experience because it's very little people in the national park, and you are alone with the full moon and in the falls area. It's amazing. And this is from the Brazilian side. Yeah, I recommend to include the Brazilian side to have this prospective and different view from the Brazilian side. Yeah, this is the closest they get to the Devil Throw. So the balcony, the Devil Throw is here, and here is the Brazilian side. It's a shorter walk in the Brazilian side. In total, we take about 4 hours to visit the Brazilian side. And this is a helicopter ride. This helicopter is operating only in the Brazilian side. Yeah, in the Argentinian we stopped. It was a controversy about the birds running out of the national park. So now we stopped doing helicopters, and Brazilians are the only ones offering the helicopter ride. The Brazilians also, before you enter the national park, they have a bird park. It's a very good and complete park that you can see a lot of species of the area, toucanos, flamingos. If you have people interested in history, there's the San Ignacio Jesuitic ruins in the southern of Iguazu. You need to drive like 3 hours to get on the direction to Posadas, the capital city of Misiones, the province, and you get to the Jesuitic ruins. Now we go back to Buenos Aires and we connect on another flight. There's no direct flights combining Iguazu with Calafate. So we have to go through Buenos Aires and we connect in Aeroparque to go to El Calafate, the southernmost, one of the southernmost city, the gateway to the glaciers. Here is El Calafate, FTE. So we were in Iguazu, we're back to Buenos Aires, and now we go to the glaciers here. The main reason we get to El Calafate is to see glaciers. And also there are great combinations that you can do to combine with the Torres del Paine in Chile, or you can go to El Chaltén for passengers who are more active. Yeah, I do recommend like 3 nights in this area to stay like 2 or 3 nights in Calafate area. The glaciers can be visited all year round. It's better to go to Patagonia maybe from October to April. It's our summertime. Remember that I mentioned we are opposite to the Northern Hemisphere. I guess most of you are located in the Northern Hemisphere, so we are opposite to you. We are now leaving out our winter and entering we are now in spring and entering into our summer in December. Yeah, so 3 nights in the area of Calafate is what I do recommend, especially then if you are going to combine with other places, you need like 5 to 7 days if you want to cross to Torres del Paine or combine it also with El Chaltén. I do recommend longer than 3 nights. 3 nights minimum for just Calafate, visiting the famous Perito Moreno Glacier, visiting some estancias or some soft adventure areas, activities that we can offer. So 3 hours to get to Calafate. The main tours, of course, the star here is the glacier Perito Moreno, yeah, the famous, one of the best access, one of the best maintained glaciers. It's in a good balance. It's not melting. It's so if you consider most of the glaciers in the world are melting, even in this area here. But the Perito Moreno is in a good position, so it's in a good balance between melting, between what they lose and what they earn. So it's not it's one of the only glaciers that has one of the best access. As you can see, people are very close to the glacier, and it's in a good balance without this problem of melting. The other glaciers like the Uppsala in the area have lost a lot of the front wall of the glacier. So it's a problem also in this area. We have many glaciers in the continental ice field. It's not only in the Argentinian side, but in the same area you have glaciers in the Chilean side going to the area of Torres del Paine. These are the amazing views that you can see of the glacier in the Perito Moreno if you take the full day Perito Moreno from El Calafate. Yeah? This is a full day trip, and actually you can take some extra activities, some optionals to your passengers. You can take this, for example, Safari Nautico, that is a navigation, a boat ride to see the glacier away from the water, from a different way, different perspective. So you have this to see, you can see the glacier from the Brazo Rico or the Brazo Norte, depending which company you are taking. There are 2 companies operating in the 2 sides of the lake. Also, you can put, if you have passengers that are more active, you can take them to the mini trekking. You can put some crampons and walk on the ice. And if you have even more, this one, the big ice, is a longer time in the ice. So it's another experience. Also for active passengers, you can take them to the kayak experience in the Moreno. If you have passengers arriving and have an afternoon free or a morning free on the last day, you can offer them the glaciarium. It's better on the starting day, so it's an introduction to the area. It's give you all the information of glaciology and all the glaciers of the area. So it's good introduction to what you will see in the next days. And other things that you can offer in the area is taking different navigations. So from Calafate, we depart like 40 minutes and we get to Puerto Bandera, where we take the boats there are different boats that we can explore in the to see different glaciers. So with the old glaciers, the gourmet experience, there are different companies operating different glaciers. So depending which company you take, Estancia Cristina goes to see the glaciers, and then they have lunch in a typical estancia. So and there are other companies that are going more into the Spegazzini arm here, offer different experience. For example, this one is the old glaciers. And this one is the same one, sorry. Glaciar Gourmet is the Marpatak company. This same company has a program that has, you can stay overnight in a different kind of cruise. So you can also offer a passenger staying overnight in one deluxe cruise in the area. And the Estancia Cristina, for example, that has 4 options: the classic Estancia visit, the Estancia Discovery. This is the one I do recommend better, because it includes this 4-wheel drive vehicle going all the way up with one of the best views of the area, that you can see the Uppsala Glacier up from a viewpoint here. And it's amazing what you see there. Another option they offer is going the trekking with the fossils canyons, that you can take passengers that are more active. It's also part of one of the activities that the Estancia Cristina offer. If you have people staying also in the lodge, they offer accommodation, and they also offer horseback riding. There are other estancias in the area. From Calafate, you can go to Nivepo Aike to have lunch or dinner. They offer 2 different experiences. And you have passengers that also have a half day on the arrival day or on a departure day. They can take this kind of 4-wheel drive vehicles to do the safari experience or the Nativo experience, ending up with a dinner on a cave. It's kind of a nice experience with a great view of the Lake Lago Argentina. Great gastronomy. Remember, the lamb barbecue is the typical thing that we have here, but they also have a lot of vegetables and fish. There's good fishing in the area too. And close to El Calafate, we have El Chalten, the trekking capital. We go like from Calafate 3 hours north, and we get to El Chalten, where the base of the Fitzroy. We have this amazing view and access to the most of the stunning trekking that we have in Argentina. This is the capital of trekking, so you can have different levels of trekking. So Rio de las Vueltas, the typical Chorrillo del Salto, is a short walk that we can take from Chalten town. But if you are active, you can go to Laguna de los Tres. It's a 7 hours walk trek that is an amazing, because you get to the top, to the base of the Fitzroy and these kind of views. Also, if you have passengers more active, you can put crampons and walk in the ice, also in Chalten. Or go to the Lago del Desierto to have a scenic, beautiful view of the Lago del Desierto. This is very close to Chile, in the border to Chile. Now we take 30 to 40 minutes flight from Calafate, and we get to Ushuaia. So from here, we fly into Ushuaia, the southernmost city. Or if you are taking a direct flight from Buenos Aires, this is the longest flight that we have, going all the way to Ushuaia. It's 4 hours flight. So it's we get to the southernmost city. This is the gateway also to Antarctica. There's a lot of cruises going from Ushuaia all the way to Antarctica. You will see that this is an island. This is called Tierra del Fuego, and it's divided between Argentina and Chile. So Ushuaia is the southernmost city, the end of the world. I do recommend like 2 or 3 nights in the area, depending what are your interest or your passenger interest. If you come here in winter, you get a lot of snow. This is a ski center. It's called Cerro Castor. And if you come in the summertime, from October to April, it's our Antarctic season. So all the cruise lines going to Antarctica live out of Ushuaia, and it takes like 10 days to 20 days, depending which company you are taking out of Ushuaia. So this is a good starting point for those cruise lines, not only the ones going to Antarctica, but also doing the circumnavigation all the way the southern part of South America. So companies such as the Norwegian Princess and all the big ships are also stopping in Ushuaia on the way, doing all the way to the Chilean side. Yeah, so this is one of the stops that they do. Once you are in Ushuaia, I do recommend to include your passengers the typical national park to see these amazing and stunning views of Patagonia, the National Park of Tierra del Fuego, where we have the famous train of the end of the world. It was an old prisoner's train that used to go from the city to this area to cut the forest and do some activities with the prisoners. Now it's just a touristic train of about 1-hour train from the main station all the way to the Bahía de la Batalla. So it's a nice combination of doing the national park with the train. Yeah, you have to book this in advance because sometimes in a high season it's very demanded. This is all the different landscapes that you see in the national park, the Bahía Ensenada. You can see Lago Asigami. You can see, well, if you have people that are more active, you can have ways to see the national park on a different way. You can have a combination of a typical bus ride or a smaller vehicle with a walking in the national park. Or if you go in winter, you can have this snow special like the special shoes to walk in the snow. Also, you have options to take these kayaks. And there are many options to take navigations in Ushuaia, from the typical short ride to see the Beagle and the Les Eclairs house, the end of the world lighthouse, or you can take longer navigation to go to Estancia Herberton or to see the penguins here. And there are also combinations of boat rides combining with land rides. So there are many ways to see different landscapes from the water. Remember, we are facing this sea channel, the Beagle channel. This is a shorter ride, the 2 hours, 30 minutes to see the sea lions. Les Eclairs. There's one boat that also give you the possibility to walk in one of the islands. There's other boats that take you to see the penguins. Remember the seasons from October to March. Martillo Island. So and this is the boat that takes you all the way to the Estancia Herberton, that you can either return by boat or combine it by land all the way back to Ushuaia. So you can see the landscape and the typical estancias in the area. The penguins that we have here. Also you can walk in with the penguins if you take another kind of activity. There's a company offering walk with the penguins in very limited for a maximum 20 passengers per turn, and they take you to Martillo Island to walk with the penguins. Yeah, city tour of Ushuaia, visiting the prisoners, the Presidium Museum, Lake of Road for those passengers who like some more active tours. Beautiful because you are visiting the Lago Escondido and Fagnano. And some active options, winter resort, as I was mentioning. Ushuaia has the Cerro Castor Ski Center in the winter time. Local gastronomy is very famous for the king crabs. So the spider king crab, it's one of the most important dishes. Now we go to Bariloche. Bariloche is the Lake District. We are still in Patagonia. All these 4 areas that we will mention are Patagonia. So this is the Lake District. This is only 2 hours flight from Buenos Aires. And we get here mainly to see the beautiful Lake District and also to combine with Chile. This is another easy combination that you can take from Bariloche to Puerto Montt and Puerto Varas. Like, for example, from here, you can do the lake crossing all the way to the Chilean side. So you can actually combine Argentina and Chile in this area, either from the Chilean side, starting into and getting into Argentina, or from Argentina and continuing to Chile. So this is a very famous and international crossing that a lot of passengers are taking. If you are doing just the Argentinian side, I do recommend like 2 or 3 nights in Bariloche. I have done 15 days and you have a lot of outdoor activities in the area. So it depends on your passengers how active they want to go, or if it's just a leisure passenger. So I would recommend minimum 2 nights in the area. Yeah, the main tours, the small circuit that we offer, with one of the best views of the area. This is a picture from the Campanario Hill, one of the best views that we have in Bariloche. This is the civic center in the city of Bariloche. Again, the Campanario Hill, the famous Yao Yao Hotel, a resort that is facing different lakes. And here is also in front of the Yao Yao is the port to take the navigation to the lake district, to do the lake crossing. Again, the Yao Yao Hotel, great circuit. Well, this is another longer circuit that we have in the area, visiting different lakes, rivers, falls. So it's a lot of beautiful places that we have in the area. Also, Villa Langostura, it's just crossing the big lake that we are facing in Bariloche. It's called the Nahuel Huapi Lake. So in the other side, we have this town called Villa Langostura, where rivers, falls, we have a lot. San Martín de los Andes is another town. We can take a full day trip to San Martín de los Andes, visiting the 7 Lakes route. This is a town located in front of the Lácar Lake. So it's another ski center. Bariloche has a ski center, and San Martín de los Andes has another one called Cerro Chapelco. In Bariloche, we call it Cerro Catedral for those passengers who want to do the skiing in Argentina. Remember, opposite season. So we are now skiing in July and August will be the ski season. Another tour that you can take in Bariloche to see the navigation, to see the Victoria and Arrayanes forest, the Isla Victoria. This is this is Puerto Blest. You can either take Puerto Blest as a day trip from Bariloche or take it as part of the lake crossing that I'm going to show you later. This is the first port that I was mentioning for the lake crossing in front of the Yao Yao. And well, this is the lake crossing. So here is a map of the lake crossing going from Argentina to Chile, or as I was mentioning, from Chile to Argentina. Yeah, you have airports in both sides. So if you are coming from Buenos Aires, you land in Bariloche, you stay 2-3 nights, then you do the lake crossing. And there's an airport in the Chilean side in Puerto Montt, in between Puerto Montt and Puerto Varas, that you can take planes from here all the way to Santiago, or continue down to the rest of the Chilean Patagonia. Yeah, so there's many combinations that you can do in between Argentina and Chile. This is one of the crossings that we can offer. Yeah, the famous lake crossing. This is one of the lakes that we cross, the Lago Frias, Osorno, volcanoes. And Bariloche offer a lot of outdoor and active options. Yeah, hiking, trekking, skiing, rafting, mountain bikes, kayaks, all that's fishing, plenty of fishing in this area. That's why I was mentioning you can stay in this area for 10 to 15 days without any problem, but minimum 2 nights in the area. This is the Cathedral Hill winter resort. Local gastronomy in the area is beautiful. It's one of the it's the Switzerland of Argentina. We have a lot of chocolates. We have a beer, a lot of German influence also. Beer, beautiful local beers, land barbecue. And now we'll visit Puerto Madryn to see, here it's 2 hours flight from Buenos Aires, and we land in Trelew. Trelew is the airport for Puerto Madryn. This is 3 names in the same area. So we land in Trelew. We have to visit Peninsula Valdez, and some people also call Puerto Madryn because it's the city where we stay in. And the main reason we go here is to see the famous whales and the penguins. So we only need to consider some seasonality here to see the penguins from September to April and to see the whales from June to December. So if you want to see both whales and the penguins, October, November is a very good timing. So 2 nights in the area, you stay overnight in Puerto Madryn, you visit a full day trip to see the Peninsula Valdez, or there are a few estancias that you can stay overnight in here. Also, you can have estancias around here. And if you have passengers more interested in the wildlife, marine wildlife, there are other activities such as Playa Bustamante here, or there are different combinations that we can offer, but you need longer time. If you just do 2 nights in Puerto Madryn, you do 1 day, full day to the Peninsula Valdez, and 1 day, full day to see the penguins in Punta Tombo here. Yeah. So this is the full day of the Peninsula Valdez to see wild animals, see lions, see elephants, There's an estancia called San Lorenzo here that also has some penguins. So you can do penguins in the peninsula as well. And whale watching cruises, there are many different companies operating the whale watching program, and you are very close to the whales. Yeah, it's an amazing experience. There's one company that offers a submarine. You can see it from below the water. So Punta Tombo, the penguin rockery, remember, from September to April for the penguins, and this is the Magellanic penguin, different penguin than from Ushuaia. This is the Estancia El Pedral. That's a beautiful program to offer typical estancia in the area. Snorkeling, scuba diving, you can do in the area. We have it's a bit cold water here, but with a good wetsuit, you can do scuba diving in the area. Whale safari, while mountain bike, a lot of outdoor activities. Now we go to Mendoza, the wine area of Argentina. So it's from Buenos Aires, 2 hours flight to Mendoza, and we are getting to see the most important wine area that we have. 3 to 4 nights in the area, I do recommend. If you probably heard about our wines in Argentina, the typical Malbec, it's our most important wine production in the Mendoza city. Here is the city. You can see how close to the Andean range is located. So in front of Mendoza, in the other side of the Andes, we have Santiago, the capital city of Chile. So you can do a land crossing from here. You go all the way up to the mountain, and then you go down to the capital city of Chile if you want to combine both countries also. I do recommend better to do that in the summertime, because in winter sometimes you get a lot of snow in the crossing, and sometimes they cut the road. So a classic city tour, it's for a first-time visitor, good to include. But of course, a lot of passengers are taking more wine tours. There are many combinations and many offers of wine experiences that you can offer to your passengers. Remember that in the area we have more than 2,000 wineries. So we have all kinds of levels: boutique wineries, smaller, bigger production. There are many options, and these are the areas that we visit when we do wine tours. So we go to Maipú, we go to Luján de Cuyo, and if we want to take a longer full day trip, we go to Valle de Uco, which is one of the best areas now for wine production because of the altitude of the wines and the grapes that they are producing here. Yeah, so when we normally do a wine tour, we concentrate in these 3 areas: Luján, Maipú, and Valle de Uco. Yeah, depending how long we stay in the area, it's that we can include more wineries per day. Our day trips include no more than 2 wineries or 3 wineries if we include lunch in one of them. It depending which, if you are in a private basis, we are more flexible with the wineries that you can include, or if you are on a regular basis, there are certain wineries that they already have preset it. Yeah, so Piatelli, depending which, and some of also we combine with olive oil production. So we visit an olive oil production in the area. Valle de Uco that I was mentioning is one of the best areas now. Catena, very famous winery, high-end gastronomy. Most of these wine areas, we have also wine lodges with top knowledge chefs in the area. So we have the vines, they have Cavas Wine Lodge. We have different Trapiche. It's a winery that they are doing a night program also. It's very nice. We have cooking lessons in the winery. We have picnics in the wineries. If you have people that want to get more involved with the wine production, they can do the prune. You can do the harvest in March. Our harvest, it's in March. If you have people that want to do bike, there are a lot of bike tours that we can offer, not only in the wine area, but in the mountain also, horseback riding as well. And there's a beautiful program also to do a full day trip to go to the mountain, to the Andean range, and we get to Puente del Inca. This is a full day from Mendoza we get very close to the famous Cerro Aconcagua. This is the highest mountain we have in Argentina. and one of the 7 peaks of the world. So it's a very important mountain that we have in the Andes, and the highest in South America. A lot of people come here to climb it in the summertime only, and so again, more options for passengers taking active tours, horseback riding, or rafting, zip lines. And now the last destination, one of my favorites, Salta, with the deserts, the cultural side. It's up here. So we are in Buenos Aires. We fly into Salta, 2 hours flight, and we get to Salta area. We get a lot of history and cultural destination, deserts, nature, gastronomy is very important here. And from here, you can combine either to Bolivia to do the Uyuni Sub Lakes, or to Atacama Desert in the Chilean side. So it's another combination that you can do, combining 2 or 3 countries in the same area. So 3 nights minimum in Salta, just to stay in Salta area. Full day trip to Humahuaca Gorge, or full day trip to Cafayate. But if you go to the Andean range, the Puna, you can stay in little towns in Cachi, or you stay in San Antonio Los Cobres or in Purmamarca. These little towns are amazing. You get lost in time, and the cultural, and the colors that you see in the mountains here are amazing. It's all the people are the Andean people, so it's a very good cultural site for visiting. So I do recommend staying in these little towns, in Cafayate, in Cachi, in all these places. So for that, you need to do longer stay. This is a city of Salta. We are recommended to do more walking tours in Buenos Aires, in Salta. Part of our sustainability programs are to have more people walking in the city and to have bike tours rather than taking a lot of vehicles. Walking city tour in Salta, including the cathedral, including the Mum Museum, where you can see mummies. Local gastronomy, the typical empanadas. This is our second wine area. So we have Mendoza, our main wine area, but here in Salta is Cafayate, where we have the typical wines from the north. The Torrontés is the typical one, but then we have other grapes, Cabernet, or many other productions, Tanat. So this is the Calchaquí Valleys going all the way south of Salta. So going to Cafayate, the wine area, but also if you turn left, you go to Cachi, Molinos, little towns. There's also a winery here, Colomé, very important. So this is called the Calchaquí Valleys, and it's a circuit that I do recommend to do it in more than one night. If you do one night, maybe you stay overnight in Cafayate, and on the return, you return to Salta through Cachi. But it's better to do like 2 nights, one night in Cafayate and one night in Cachi, and then on the way, and then you return to Salta. Yeah, look at some of the landscapes that you see in the area, deserts, colors, beautiful cactus, national park, Cachi, the little town that I was mentioning, facing the red peppers, facing the Andean range, the cultural side, the wine. So it's a lot of colors in the same day, some good contrast, jungle and mountains and colors in the same day. So it's an amazing destination for you to include to your passengers. Yeah, Quebrada de Humahuaca, declared by the UNESCO, the 7 Colors Hill, Purmamarca. Yeah, so there, look at the colors of the area, it's amazing. And the cultural side that we have. This is the Hornocal Hill near Humahuaca, more wines if you want to try high altitude wines. That's something that you need to consider for your passengers. The altitude, some of the day trips, we go like 5,000 meters, which is like 12,000 feet. It's we go high in the mountain. This is the Sag Lakes, Salinas Grandes. When we cross to Chile into Atacama, so it's a beautiful place to discover, to get involved with and the famous train to the clouds. Before I forget, yeah, this is the train into the clouds that gets up to 4,000 meters. It's a very typical train that we are now operating in a short ride only from San Antonio Los Cobres. We go to Viaducto Las Polvorillas and back to San Antonio Los Cobres. So we leave out from Salta in vehicle, and then we take the train at the end. Active options also, we have Liama walks, we have trekkings, we have biking, and gastronomy, of course, as I was mentioning, the empanadas, the Torrontés wine. It's amazing. So this is a bit of Argentina. We have been talking about Buenos Aires. We went to Iguazu, the jungle. We went then to Calafate, the glaciers. We went then to the Ushuaia, the southernmost city. We went to Bariloche, where the lake area is. We went to the Peninsula Valdez, where the whales and the penguins are. So this is all the Patagonia area. Then we visit Mendoza with the wine area, and we end up in Salta. So as you saw on the pictures, it's a lot of diversity and contrast and variety in the same country. Yeah. I'm not sure, Jime, if we have questions. I wasn't looking the chat. You want to open your microphone?
No, it's fine. Yeah, I sent the answers in private.
Excellent, perfect. So I hope you enjoyed our webinar. You can follow into our social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. We will keep this webinar on our YouTube channel for you to listen it, or if you want to share with anybody else, we are happy for you to share it and sell a lot of Argentina. So remember, we are opening our borders in November, so we expect all your passengers very soon. Yeah, hope to have a lot of bookings from your side. Thank you.